Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the first four figures SPYRO, which is an 8-inch PVC painted statue. And the reason I'm reviewing this is they contacted me and said, hey, would you like to review our product? I mean, there was a little bit more to it than that. And I said, sure, but I'm gonna review it like an actual review. This is not just a puff piece. And they said, that's awesome. We prefer that. We'd much rather have constructive criticism than just a puff piece. And we want to get our product out there in an honest way. And then we can use the criticism as well to improve. And they said all that kind of good stuff, which is the kind of thing you want to hear from a company that's making any sort of collectible. So I said, well, absolutely. Let's go ahead and do that. And I know SPYRO's coming out. I guess there's a remake coming out soon. I guess I don't know that. I think that. I've never played SPYRO. Anyway, they seem like a cool company. The fact that they wanted an honest review, and they sent me this so I could review it. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands, including the base, about 7 3/4 inches. So it did say 8 inches, but I guess that's relatively. I mean, most companies aren't exactly accurate with the height anyway, but that's 20 centimeters. So you give it a little bit of leeway and it's okay, but it is slightly shorter than the 8 inches. Anyway, before I get into this though, I want to mention, if you didn't pay attention to the packaging, go back to the review or the beginning of the review and look in this region right here. It's really cool packaging. I like it. You could easily display it in package because it's very nicely done. But anyway, let's talk about this. It's a statue, so we don't have like any articulation or anything to go over, no accessories, that kind of stuff. But we can talk about the just kind of in general sense. And so a lot of people have this stigma or notion that there is a bad thing about a PVC statue. And I am of the mindset that unless you're going for like super duper tiny, fine, hard edge detail, PVC is one of the better materials you can use. It's not perfect for those kind of tiny details, but for just about anything else, it's generally easier to work with, and it's less likely to break, and it looks just as good as anything else once you get it done. So I guess if some people have that issue with PVC, I would suggest you maybe reconsider that idea. But anyway, this guy is sculpted nicely. It doesn't have a whole lot of hard details on it to really talk about, but everything is sculpted, like all the little scales or lumps or whatever you want to call them, those are all sculpted on his back. Looks like these lighter purple ones are separate pieces. We do have one thing, which is the tail is a separate piece, the feet are all separate pieces, and then the front part of the face, those are all separate pieces. And the seams are somewhat noticeable. It's not a terrible situation, but they are not, let's say, hidden particularly well, so I will point that out. That's something they could definitely improve upon. And then one other thing I've noticed, and I didn't notice this until I had the harsh lights on, so it might not be a big deal, but where the feet are separate from the arms, there's a slight color change. Very slight. Same thing for the face, and I don't think that's intentional. If it is, then it's not a problem, but if it is not intentional, that's something they could work on. Again, I didn't notice that until I had these really strong lights on it, but otherwise the sculpt is really good. No issues there. The face is nice. I like that. The little line work in there is all sculpted, so that's all good. Here's the thing that stands out the most about this guy, though, is the paintwork. It's exceptionally clean. It's really, really nice. The base obviously is just the purple and pink with some shading and some scuff marks on there painted, but you can see the shading on the wing. Very, very nicely done. All these little shading spots around the lines here for the horns, very nicely done. Same thing for the mohawk. The thing that stands out the most about the paint, though, the eyes. Things, I guess, not thing. The eyes are basically perfect. Like, exceptionally well done. The white part, and then the iris, and everything else, too. It's all just exceptionally well done. I mean, it sounds like I'm just talking about the eyes for no reason, but you don't normally see that level of clarity in a paint job, especially with white paint. And it looks to me like it's white paint on top of purple plastic, probably, with the color parts painted on top of that, but they're glossy and painted exceptionally clean. Very, very nicely done. And then the rest is relatively soft paint job, like I said, with shading and things, but it does look really, really good. Really good. And then we do have the clearish plastic, translucent plastic for the ruby, and it's very vibrant and saturated, and I like that, and it catches the light very nicely. It's a nice sharp sculpt. So it's a very cool piece. I think it's nice. Again, the only thing that really stands out to me is really needing improvement is the delineation between the separate pieces that had to get glued together. So yeah, they could definitely improve that, but I don't think most people would even notice it. I think once it's on your shelf, unless you're getting up really close to your shelves, you're definitely not going to notice it, and it's going to look really nice on display. So I would definitely recommend it. I think if you're into this sort of thing, you guys know I don't really collect statues. I have a few, but if you're into this sort of thing, this is good. I like it. I think you guys probably will too. And now you know more about it, so we're gonna call it there. Don't need to give it a rating because we didn't talk about any of the specifics in that way. But it's a cool piece. Not perfect, but it's really solid and very saturated and vibrant and appealing. And I recommend it with the caveat of those few things that I mentioned being there. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I do have new videos up almost every single day, and except for Wednesdays, and I do have thousands of other videos on the channel already, so if you want to check those out, you could probably check those out, and you'll probably find something you like. So make sure you come back for that good stuff, and in the meantime, keep collecting.